The rain hammered against the penthouse windows as Marcus Ashford stood in his home office, staring at the security monitor. For the third time that week, he'd caught himself watching Eleanor Hayes through the cameras. There she was, kneeling. On the Persian rug in the playroom, her dark hair falling loose from its usual neat bun as his 6-year-old daughter Emma tugged at her hand. Marcus had hired 17 nannies in the past 2 years. 17 professionally trained women who had lasted anywhere from 3 days to 2 months. Emma had terrified most of them with her nightmares and screaming fits. His 9-year-old son Thomas had perfected the art of silent hostility, making grown women cry with nothing more than his hollow stare. But Eleanor was different. She'd arrived 4 months ago wearing a second-hand dress and carrying credentials from an agency Marcus had never heard of. Her references were sparse, her resume thin. Then Emma had wandered into the interview room, and Eleanor had smiled at her, not the practiced smile of someone trying too hard, but something genuine and sad. "You have nightmares too, don't you?" Eleanor had said softly, and Emma had nodded. Now, watching the monitor, Marcus saw Eleanor pull out a small wooden toy from her apron pocket, a simple stacking ring toy with colorful rings. Emma's eyes lit up as Eleanor showed her how to stack them. Thomas appeared in the doorway, lanky and dark-haired like Marcus, with that same guarded expression his son had worn since the accident. "The accident that had taken Catherine 3 years ago. My grandmother made this," Eleanor was saying. "She said every ring represents a different kind of love. The red one is for courage because love makes us brave. The yellow one is for joy. The green one is for growth. The blue one is for sorrow because sometimes love hurts." Emma climbed into Eleanor's lap. Thomas sat down nearby. Marcus felt something crack in his chest. This woman had done in 4 months what he'd failed to do in 3 years. But something didn't add up. The way she'd flinched when she saw his business partner Robert. The way she stared out windows with profound sadness. Her vague background that didn't quite check out. Marcus made a decision. Tomorrow he would follow her. He needed to know who Eleanor Hayes really was. The next morning dawned gray and drizzling. Marcus called his assistant at 6 a.m. and rescheduled everything. He dressed in jeans and a dark jacket, a baseball cap pulled low, and watched as Eleanor emerged from her building across the street. She walked quickly, hands in the pockets of a thin gray coat, carrying a canvas bag. She looked unremarkable, forgettable, exactly what someone might look like if they didn't want to be noticed. Eleanor took the subway downtown, and Marcus followed at a careful distance. They emerged in one of the city's older neighborhoods, where brick warehouses had been converted into artist studios. Eleanor walked with purpose. Turning down a narrow street, she stopped in front of a weathered building. St. Catherine's Community Center. Marcus felt his breath catch. Catherine, his wife's name, inside. The building hummed with activity, children's laughter, the smell of coffee, bulletin boards covered with flyers. An older woman at reception smiled at him. "I'm Dorothy. Can I help you?" "I'm looking for someone." A woman, dark hair, gray coat. Dorothy's expression cooled. "Ellie? She volunteers here? You're her employer, aren't you?" "The one with the children who lost his wife." Marcus nodded, surprised. "She talks about your kids like they hung the moon," Dorothy said. "She's good people. Whatever you're worried about, you don't need to be." "Then why does she seem like she's hiding something?" "Everyone here is hiding from something. But hiding and healing look real similar sometimes." A crash came from upstairs. Marcus followed Dorothy up to a large room converted into a library. Children were scattered around, and there in the corner, Eleanor knelt beside a crying boy who'd knocked over blocks. "Hey, it's okay," Eleanor said gently. "Building things is hard. They fall down sometimes. That's how we learn to build them stronger." Marcus watched from the doorway as she moved between children with natural grace, patience for one, encouragement for a teenage girl with haunted eyes, playfulness for a fussing toddler. She wasn't being paid. She simply chose to be here. "She started coming 4 months ago," Dorothy said beside him. "Didn't ask for money, just asked if we needed help. These kids don't trust easy, but they trust Ellie." Eleanor looked up suddenly, her eyes meeting Marcus's. The color drained from her face. She walked toward him like someone heading toward execution. Mr. Ashford, I didn't expect to see you here. I needed to understand who was living in my home, who my children love. Asterisk, they ended up in a small office. Eleanor sat on the edge of a desk, shoulders hunched. My name isn't Eleanor Hayes, she said finally. It's Elena Hawthorne. Marcus felt his stomach drop. You lied? I changed it legally. 4 months before I came to work for you. She took a shaky breath. I was married to David Hawthorne. By the time I realized what he really was, I was trapped. Marcus thought of how she flinched at sudden movements. He hurt you. For 6 years. The worst part wasn't the physical abuse, it was how he isolated me, made me dependent, convinced me I was worthless. Tears streamed down her face. I tried to leave 3 times. The last time. She pulled up her sleeve, revealing a faint scar. He said if I ever tried again, he'd make sure I never left alive. How did you escape? His business partner helped me. Robert, she saw Marcus's expression change. You know him. Robert Chambers, he's my business partner. Elena's laugh was bitter. Robert helped me disappear, new identity, new city. But he made me promise never to contact him, because David would be watching. That's why I acted strange when I saw him at your apartment. Is that why you volunteer here, these traumatized kids? I see myself in them. I want them to know they can survive, that they can build something new even after everything's been destroyed. Marcus reached for her hand. Thomas and Emma need you. I need you. You're not resigning unless you want to. Why are you being so kind? I lied to you. You survived. There's a difference. He squeezed her hand gently. You're exactly who I thought you were. Just with a better reason, Elena smiled, really smiled. The toy I showed Emma? My grandmother gave it to me the night before I left my husband. She told me to remember that love comes in many forms. What color would you add now? Silver. For the love that gives us a second chance. Marcus thought of Catherine, of his grief, and of this unexpected feeling blooming in his chest, something like hope. 2 weeks passed in careful normalcy. Eleanor Elena? Marcus corrected himself, continued caring for the children. They didn't speak about her revelation, but something had shifted. She smiled more easily. The children bloomed under her attention. Then Robert came for dinner. Marcus had invited him deliberately, wanting to understand the connection. Robert arrived with wine and stories, charming as always. But when Elena brought out dessert, Robert's fork clattered to his plate. Ellie? He whispered. Elena's hands trembled. Hello, Robert. Thomas and Emma looked between the adults, confused. Marcus cleared his throat. Kids, why don't you go watch a movie? The adults need to talk. Once alone, Robert stood, his face pale. What are you doing here? David has people looking everywhere. I know, but I couldn't keep running forever. I needed to live. Does Marcus know? Everything, Marcus confirmed. Robert ran his hands through his hair. David's getting desperate. He's hired private investigators. He thinks you're still in the South, but if he finds out you're here, if he connects you to me. He looked at Marcus. You don't understand what he's capable of. Then help us, Marcus said. You have resources, connections, help me protect her. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple. Marcus's voice was steel. You helped Elena escape. Don't abandon her now. Robert looked between them, seeing something in Marcus's expression that made him pause. You care about her? She saved my children. She's... Marcus met Elena's eyes. Yes, I care about her. Elena's breath caught. They hadn't acknowledged this growing thing between them, this connection deeper than employer and employee. Robert sighed. Okay, but we do this carefully. David can't know I'm involved. And you, he pointed at Elena, you can't go anywhere alone. No more community center visits without protection. The children there need me. The children here need you alive, Marcus interrupted. Please, Elena. She nodded reluctantly. Later that night, after Robert left and the children were asleep, Marcus found Elena on the balcony despite the cold. Are you afraid? He asked, terrified but also relieved. I'm tired of running, Marcus. I'm tired of looking over my shoulder. He stood beside her. You won't have to, not anymore. You can't promise that. No, but I can promise I'll do everything in my power to keep you safe." He turned to face her. "These past months, watching you with Thomas and Emma, seeing you bring joy back into this house, you've given us so much. You've given me something too, a home, a purpose, a reason to believe I could be more than what David made me." 3 days later, everything fell apart. Marcus was in a board meeting when his phone rang Elena's number. He answered immediately, ignoring the shocked faces around the conference table. "Marcus," her voice shook, "he found me." "David's outside the building." His blood turned to ice. "Where are the children?" "At school. I'm alone. He's just standing there, watching the entrance. He hasn't tried to come up, but I'm coming right now." "Lock every door. Don't open for anyone but me or building security." Marcus was out of the boardroom in seconds, his assistant scrambling behind him. He called Robert from the car, then building security, then his lawyer. By the time he reached the penthouse, police were already there, but David was gone. Marcus found Elena in Emma's room, clutching the stacking ring toy, tears streaming down her face. "He knew exactly where I was," she whispered. "How did he find me?" Over the next hours, they pieced it together. David had traced the community center donations Elena made. Small amounts, but regular. He'd staked out St. Catherine's until he saw her, then followed her home. "I led him right here," Elena said, anguished. "To your children. I should leave—" "No," Marcus knelt before her. "That's what he wants. To make you run, to take away everything you've built. We're not giving him that power. But Emma and Thomas will be protected. I'm hiring security. Robert's already working with our lawyers on a restraining order. And you," he took her hands, "you're staying not as an employee, as family." Elena looked at him through tears. "Marcus, I can't ask you to risk. You're not asking. I'm choosing. Just like you chose to help my broken children heal. Just like you chose to build something beautiful from the ruins David left you in." He cupped her face gently. "I'm choosing you, Elena, if you'll let me." She kissed him then. Soft and hesitant and sweet, and Marcus felt pieces of his heart he thought were dead forever suddenly come back to life. The door burst open. Thomas and Emma, home from school with their security escort, stopped short at seeing their father and Elena in each other's arms. "Finally!" Emma exclaimed. "Thomas, you owe me $5. I told you Dad liked Miss Eleanor." Thomas actually smiled. "Are you staying forever now?" he asked Elena. "If your father and I have anything to say about it," Elena said, laughing through tears. Outside, rain began to fall again, but inside, the Ashford family was finally whole.